In a very simple sense, the foundations of Food 52 are content, community, commerce. Is that the right order, or at least the order that you worked in?
Well, it is both the order that we worked in, but also the way we see the world. In that, we really feel like content is the cornerstone of building a relationship with a community and giving a community a place, a sense of place, a place to connect with each other, a set of values, and really kind of sets the tone for what a community is and what it can be. And we feel like without strong content, it's impossible to really build a great community and to have to broaden what you do as a business, like adding something like commerce. So our view, like it's really, really difficult to be a commerce company first and then follow it up by trying to build content and community around that. We felt like from the very beginning that we needed to that content has the power to build trust and loyalty, and so that is why we started there first.
A lot of DTC and more established brands are rushing to add online content, and a lot of media brands are rushing to add some kind of e-commerce element to the business. It's going to get very busy or very noisy. What for you will be the key to cutting through all that and just keeping yourself heard and kind of maintaining that relationship?
Yeah. I think that it really comes down to, again, kind of like the values around, what what your business cares about. With us in food, we very much feel like it's our sensibility, which is, we're very approachable. Yes, it's a bit aspirational. We try to help you kind of elevate whether, how you're cooking, what you're eating, how you're living in your home. And I think that having that like a strong point of view and a strong for us in a space like food and home, a really specific visual aesthetic these are keys to making sure that people know that when they are, whether they're on Instagram or they're on our site or they're listening to one of our podcasts or watching a video, they know that they're in the Food 52 world. And so I think that, as all of these companies crop up, they have to really do the work of defining what they care about, who they are for, how they're going to serve their audiences. And I think that's something, we've obviously been working on since 2009. And it's something that I think actually my co-founder, Meryl, and I think it was something we really we learned from traditional media. Traditional media companies are really great at defining, who they are and like what they're going to cover and what their point of view on the world is, and what readers can expect from them. And they do that in a lot of different ways. And I think that was something that was very much ingrained in certainly in me from my time at the New York Times. And we wanted to bring that to Food 52. And I think that actually that created a really strong anchor for us because people understood, what our sensibility was, what we stood for. And that has allowed us, and as long as we are consistent with that through any new topic that we cover or any new, business that we add, that is, to me, really critical. And I think that as there's more kind of noise in the space, I believe that the ones that will rise to the top are the ones that will have that really kind of strong identity.
And in the year, you bought the Dansk cookware brand. Why make that move, and how are you going to incorporate that into Food 52? And you were producing own brand products before, I think. But if you just talk about how that kind of fits into the model.
Sure. And just to maybe give a quick description. So we are a cooking and home company. The way we think about what we do is food is at the center of a well-lived life, but it touches lots of different areas of your life, and we want to be a resource for people. And so we started a shop in 2013 because it's so relevant to how you live in your home, how you cook in your kitchen, and we wanted to, provide a curated selection of products that are relevant to those things. And we also had the desire to create our own products. So in 2018, we launched 5-2, which is our line of very kind of utilitarian, really practical, well-designed products for the kitchen and home that we make in collaboration with our community. So we go to them for feedback before we design and make the products, and we involve them throughout the process. So it is a product line with a very particular approach to how the products are formulated or created. And that has been a very big success. As we've grown, we've seen there are categories that we want to get into that where we could create our own in-house brand, we could continue sourcing, or we could potentially acquire brands that are doing a really great job that we feel like fit neatly into, where we have a shared sensibility, they have an established reputation, and that it will help us essentially kind of grow faster by being able to bring them in-house. Or they might have an expertise that would take us too long or take too much investment to build in-house. So with Dansk is an elevated homewares company that has been around actually since the 1950s. It has incredible, I would say, just brand credibility and trust and frankly love from people over the decades. There are many Dansk collectors. There are Dansk pieces in museums. It's a really well established brand, but one that wasn't getting a lot of love from its existing owner, just because it was a part of a kind of a group of brands in a larger company, and it's a smaller brand. And we felt like there was a real opportunity to revive it under the umbrella of Food 52. So that will be a nice complement to an owned brand like 5-2, which is much more kind of focused on practicality and usefulness of products in the kitchen, like tools and aprons and things like that, to have this elevated kind of brand that is focused on tabletop and this sort of beautiful, useful, elevated products within your home. So that's the way we think about it. Is we are looking to, and we've expanded a lot into home and storage and organization and lighting and small furnishings. And so when there are opportunities to potentially acquire a brand that either we're already selling or that we know that it will help us go deeper into a category where we'd like to be, an acquisition might make sense.
And now I think there are plans for physical stores, pop-up or permanent. Can you talk about that? And also, how are you going to maintain that, that sense of community within the physical stores?
Well, I would say community is very much a big driver of why we want to do physical locations, because I think if we look across all the things that we've built out over time, we have a podcast network, we have lots of video, we have, tons of recipes and, a lot of digital content and and lots of different ways of serving people. The missing piece for us is that in-person interaction. And before COVID, we did a ton of events and we did pop-ups, but we didn't have a permanent physical location yet. And we feel like that, to us, there's such an opportunity. People inherently want to gather around food and cooking. It's a timeless part of humanity. And if we can create a hub, like a physical hub where they can gather and, they can literally taste Food 52 recipes, they can meet each other, they can take, take a class or come and meet one of our contributors who they follow on the site, or discover a new product. To us, that feels like a really amazing and powerful way to bring together all that we do in one place.
Okay, I think we'll throw in one last one. Now, of course, nobody wants to celebrate what has happened over the last year and a half, but it has recalibrated our ideas around family and friends and and food and community. Has it changed the way you think about Food 52, given the extra kind of sense of responsibility, or raised the stakes in some ways?
I don't think it has, certainly hasn't raised the stakes. I think that we've always felt like, and internally, like we were onto something by looking at food in this much broader way, and by looking at our business model and having this very diversified revenue stream. We felt like that the combination of those two things were kind of tapping into the way people would think about their lives in the future, but they weren't quite there yet. I think what COVID did was, by like having everyone, be at home so intensely for so long, in many ways just validated the work that we had been doing. And I think, really had this powerful way of imprinting upon people like how important it is to be able to feed yourself, and how food is really a comfort in times of stress, and how having a home where you feel that you feel like reflects who you are, and that is a place that you actually want to spend time, is so important and essential in life. And so, if anything, I think it just kind of validated our mission, gave us a chance to get in front of many more people in a pretty rapidly, because there was this this period, certainly for the first 6 months of COVID, where people were just desperately looking for the content that they needed, and to kind of get by in their homes. And I also think they were looking for connection with each other, right? And so these are all the things that we have been focused on for more than a decade. So if anything, I think that we found it really inspiring, because it was it let us know that, hey, this mission that we have been chasing after, and this vision that we've created for ourselves, like, really does make sense, and people are going to get where we thought they would. And so it's really on us to make sure that we're executing and serving people in the best ways. And I think that we did learn a lot about, like, what people cared about, and also, I think that something with as emotional as food, like, people's moods change, right? It's not like, we can't create content and then just rinse and repeat, right? Content that works and rinse and repeat. It's something where you really have to listen to your audience and think about their needs and get ahead of that, and provide them with it. And I think that has kind of reoriented the way we think about creating content. We're much more, I think we got back to being much more responsive to what we were feeling and hearing from our community.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, Amanda. We're out of time, which is a real shame, but thanks so much for joining us.